Cassini. The beautiful lie of Saturn. For over 2 decades, the Cassini spacecraft circled one of the most visually striking and scientifically perplexing planets in our solar system, Saturn. A planet shrouded in golden hues and encircled by rings so vast and elegant they seem sculpted by design rather than formed by chance. Cassini was launched to study what we thought was a known world. A gas giant, a stormy orb, a ringed marvel. It mapped the structure of its rings, recorded lightning within storms larger than Earth, and revealed moons teeming with potential, oceans beneath ice, methane rivers, subsurface heat. It was a triumph of human engineering and exploration. But as the years passed and the probe ventured deeper into Saturn's domain, the mission began to shift. Not just in focus, but in tone. The images became sharper. The anomalies became harder to dismiss. And the silences in the data, those quiet stretches between transmissions, began to feel like something more than just distance. Cassini's purpose had always been exploration. But by its final years, it was bearing witness to something ancient. Something we weren't prepared to understand. And maybe, something we were never meant to see. The day Earth smiled, but something else watched. On July 19, 2013, Cassini captured a breathtaking view. Earth, suspended in the blackness beneath Saturn's glowing rings. A speck of blue more than 1 billion kilometers away. They called it the day the Earth smiled. It was poetic, powerful, unifying. But within the raw, unprocessed data of those frames, analysts noticed something strange. A shadow. It was not a camera glitch, nor a sensor failure. It appeared in 3 distinct frames, from 3 different angles, thin, vertical, unwavering. It rose from within the outer B-ring. It didn't move. It didn't shift. It simply stood, like a column, motionless and geometric. At first, some thought it might be a moonlet or debris. But the shape was too linear, too defined, too artificial. Its calculated dimensions? Nearly 20 kilometers tall, casting a shadow across ring particles like a sundial carved into space. Later versions of the image were cropped, filtered, and reshared, the shadow gone. But in the mission's raw archive, the original still exists. And in it, the column still stands. Enceladus. A moon that reacts to observation. Cassini visited Enceladus repeatedly. A small, reflective world that looks, at first glance, like just another frozen moon. But this one is alive. Beneath its cracked, frozen crust lies an ocean. Cassini recorded towering geysers of water vapor erupting from fractures near its south pole, hinting at liquid seas warmed by internal heat, an ideal candidate for life. Then, during one of its last close passes, something changed. Cassini's magnetometer registered a sudden shift, a deflection not predicted by any model. It wasn't just Saturn's field interacting with the Moon. It was the Moon reacting to Cassini's presence. As if something below the surface became aware. At that very moment, infrared sensors detected a sudden and localized heat spike. Not from a plume, but from a smooth, quiet region, one that had never shown activity before. The warmth lasted precisely 12 minutes. Then disappeared. A thermal vent? A buried lake? Or something more intelligent, something watching Cassini and choosing to respond, then vanish? The perfect storm that behaved like a machine at Saturn's North Pole lies a natural phenomenon that has defied explanation for decades, the hexagon. A massive 6-sided jet stream, each side thousands of kilometers long. Stable. Unchanging. Too perfect. Cassini gave us our clearest view of it, a massive, churning vortex that refused to drift or deform. And in 2013, it got even closer. Infrared imaging revealed something unexpected beneath the surface cloudtops, a deep thermal structure composed of concentric rings, with radial lines extending outward. The pattern didn't resemble any storm system in the solar system. Instead, it looked mechanical. Deliberate. Even stranger. Within the center of the hexagon, sensors picked up rhythmic pulses of heat. Every 13 minutes. Timed with perfect regularity. One internal report called it a thermal resonance. Others started calling it something else. The clock. If it's a storm, why does it behave like a device? Cassini wasn't just orbiting Saturn. It was entering the system by its final orbits. Cassini was flying closer than any craft before, diving between Saturn and its rings. An uncharted space, believed to be mostly empty. But it wasn't. On its third dive, Cassini's instruments detected subtle but undeniable ripples within the D-ring, symmetrical movements that echoed the spacecraft's trajectory. At first, scientists assumed the probe had stirred the particles. But then came the twist. The ripples began before Cassini arrived. The ring system was reacting in advance, as though it knew something was coming. Later, magnetometers picked up a faint, oscillating frequency matching the pattern of these ripples. A kind of harmony. Resonance. As if the rings were a structured system, coordinated, perhaps even reactive. Cassini. The transmission they tried to bury, the descent that should have ended sooner on September 15, 2017. Cassini plunged into Saturn's atmosphere. A planned death to avoid contaminating moons like Enceladus and Titan. It was expected to burn up in under a minute. Instead, it transmitted for 30 seconds longer. During those final seconds, Cassini's instruments recorded anomalies. A sudden pressure drop. Like it entered a hollow pocket. A spike in radiation, then a drop. It wasn't falling. It was hovering. Then silence. Later review showed Saturn's atmosphere in that zone was too thin. Something didn't add up. A memo quietly circulated. Cassini went deeper than we planned, and something was waiting. Shadows on Titan, Saturn's largest moon, hides its surface beneath dense orange haze. Cassini used radar to see beneath it. In 2014, during a deep scan, shadows appeared. Not clouds, but shapes. Moving laterally. Against wind. One avoided a ridge, then kept moving. Constant shape. No heat. No elevation. 5 such events were recorded, all near Titan's largest methane lakes. NASA labeled them data artifacts. Cassini's own logs called them mobile radar occlusions of unknown nature. The signal between the rings. Cassini picked up a strange, ultra-low frequency radio signal. It repeated every 19 hours. Lasted exactly 42 seconds. Structured. Rising, peaking, fading, like a digital beacon. It didn't come from Saturn. Not from a moon. But from between the rings. During its final crossing, the signal appeared again, but this time, it cut off mid-pulse. Like it had been interrupted. The camera that turned itself on its 17th ring dive, Cassini captured images originally flagged for deletion. In one, a curved, metallic shape above the rings, not part of the rings, not a glitch. It appeared in 3 frames. It had moved. Even more unsettling, Cassini's camera turned toward it automatically, triggered by an onboard anomaly detection AI. The probe had seen something. And tried to look closer. It wasn't supposed to find this. Cassini's mission began as science. But in its final years, it found things that didn't fit. Storms that pulsed like machines. Moons that reacted. Rings that moved before the probe arrived. Signals with structure. Shadows with intent. Its end wasn't just about safety. It was silence. It was control. Cassini may not have failed. It may have seen too much. Call to action. If Cassini's final moments reveal more than we've been told, share this story. Subscribe for more hidden space mysteries. And comment below. Were Cassini's final images buried to protect science, or to hide something far older than science itself?